thank you so much. We have Mr. Emmanuel Capers from Patterson. He's a board member at Patterson Public Schools. And thank you so much for joining us. And
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Issues in Education is really proud to have you here. And so maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been a board member?
So I've been a board member, it feels like all my life.
Yeah.
But the amount of work that goes into it is just crazy. But officially on the book 6 years.
Okay, wow, so you got your feet wet already.
Yeah. So in my district, we're the third largest district in New Jersey, and we've been through everything. I've been through a superintendent search. We were under state control, now we got local control. So I know what that process looks like. We've been through contract negotiations with our unions, so I know what that looks like. So, and that was like in my first 2 years.
Oh wow! Okay, so baptism by fire.
Exactly.
Well, so there's going to be a lot of people watching this that might be giving you a call here to find out how that was like.
So it's like with some board members getting a 10-year span, I got my first 3. How to learn how to contract negotiation, how to do a superintendent search, pick a superintendent search, community forums, all that stuff. So I got all that in my 3 years. So after that, my next term, I was like ready to roll.
That's easy.
I was like ready to roll. So
okay, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how did you guys handle the pandemic? I know each individual district did their own thing and had their own struggles. How did you guys go through it? We're still kind of in the middle.
We're still going through it.
Yeah.
If you look at up north, we start school a little later than schools in the south. And we've been watching, everybody's been watching, the whole kind of world, country been watching how that's looking. And a lot of those schools been shutting down and stuff like that. So we're taking it step by step. But when the pandemic first happened, I think most districts wasn't prepared. And since I got on the board, I was always screaming, invest in technology, invest in technology. And our board was like, oh, it's too expensive, to be a one-to-one district because I seen it work.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to be one-to-one. That's been my stance, one-to-one, one-to-one, one-to-one. And we didn't, and I think if we would have took those steps, we would have been in a perfect position to handle the pandemic. Because once the pandemic hit, they were like, oh, school shut down for the first 3 weeks because nobody knew. And then we had to hand out all these teachers, different schools. We have 54 schools in our district.
Right? 54.
We have 54 schools in our, so every school going crazy, trying to give we got 30,000 kids in our district, making packets and packets. And then, we didn't know when we're going to see our kids again, when they're going to walk through the doors. And it was like a year later, so we handed out, then we got all these kind of state funds later on in the middle, and so we were able to give laptops to every kids and stuff like that. But I think if we would have did it earlier, we would have been prepared. But all is well. But now it's like a blessing and a curse because now we're one-to-one. Now, I did a walkthrough in our schools just last week, last week and this week, and I'm just looking at schools. The technology is great. There's no more textbooks, and everything is computerized. Big, nice boards teachers are teaching off of, and it's connected through the children's laptop. And I always said, let's be a one-to-one district because when our kids go to college, that's what college is all about. That's what these college professors are, technology. And then our kids are lost in the technology world because we wasn't used to it. So that's why I was strong advocate for it. But due to the pandemic, even though it sucks, but it's like, all right, we got it now.
You got it. It kind of pushed school districts and quite honestly businesses too to go virtual, right?
Yeah.
And figure it out.
I never heard of Zoom before.
Or stay behind. A lot of people hadn't heard of Zoom before, including myself.
Yeah, so. I was like, Zoom. Okay.
Well, we figured it out, didn't we?
Exactly.
So, tell me a little bit about what you've done as far as having a school program like educational choices. I know that sometimes a lot of districts have, the culinary arts and things like that. What are you guys doing over at Patterson?
I think one thing when I first got on the board, our district had, and it was going to shut the school down. It was a single gender school. It was an all-male academy because black and brown students learn differently when they're in one single structure. There's statistics behind it, data backs that up. So, but it was one of the worst schools in New Jersey. It was a failing school. And we saw that when I got on the board. I graduated from a high school that was single gender. So I was like, this works. You know, I was like, hold up, y'all want to close it down? No, this works actually, because I'm a product of one and I know how it can work. And so it was like ground zero, and I made it like one of my priorities. Is it an aid school right now? No, it didn't shut down. And because it progressed, we got the right people in place. I, pushed the board to give the support that the school needs. We went to conferences like this, Cube, and all of other things, and like, hey, what do we need to get this better? Like, what research we did, and now it's like a CB school now. Like the guys are passing and stuff like that, and now we're talking about expanding that school into a high school. So right now it's an elementary to middle school. So a lot of parents are like, look, I like it, I want to continue, but we don't have that offering. So next year we're going through a high school restructuring. So we're looking to add that school.
So it's definitely a successful model.
Yes, it definitely is. Yeah. And then we want to make this model work, and then we want to offer for have a female single gender school. So.
And you mentioned conferences like CUBE that we're having this week, or that we're at this week. They're very helpful because you are meeting with your peers from all sides of the country, all over the country, and you guys have the same mission, and you share ideas.
Yeah, so. Definitely. You get to learn about what other districts are doing, and sometimes like trades, right? They like some districts are saying, like I know my district, a lot of my old school, when I first got on, I had like an old school board kind of thing, board members. They were like, oh, college and this, and that's it. You go to high school, college, and career. And so, but you got younger boys where, hey, everybody's not going to college now. So we got to invest in trades. I go to a barbershop in my town, in my local town. Who's cutting my hair? Young people. And I was like, so we got to give them the resources. We got to prepare them. They're ready, they're going to graduate high school and own their own barbershop, but let's give them the licenses. A lot of these guys, we're so diverse. We're an urban district. A lot of immigrants migrate to our town, which is great. I'm part of my grandmother and my family migrated here. And they come from their different countries with their own trades. They know how to fix cars. They come, which is a beautiful thing, but we have to learn how to support them. We have to offer automotive, and really support it. We have to offer, some of these guys know how to, cook. They have to take care of their families, and, they know how to run a house. They know how to cook, clean, all those different things. So let's make them chefs, let's prepare them, because everybody, it's just the reality of things. Me and my wife have this debate all the time. They were like, oh, you got to go to college. I was like, we really got to think outside the box, because everybody's just not going to colleges. They're going to start their own, and through the pandemic, actually, people learn trades. They learn how to do things. I mean, I learned how to use a screwdriver. I learned how to do stuff on my own because I couldn't call nobody.
For sure, I think there's a section of the population, and I'm talking about the school community, that thinks and believes in CTE, right? The training of the technical arts, I suppose,
exactly.
Right? And I think you're a strong proponent of that. So, so that's
appreciate
great. So tell me a little bit about. I believe there's a school enrichment program out in Patterson, right? I think it's Patterson After 3.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. That sounds awesome.
So I coined the concept, right? Because a lot of our kids was getting into trouble after school. Fights every day after school. Kids didn't want to, we had our courtesy busing beefed up because parents didn't want their kids to walk through certain neighborhoods, stuff like that. So I'm like, what is going on? I was like, so it wasn't enough enrichment programs for them to do. Even though they're in a classroom, from 8 to 3 all day. So we was like, listen, our kids need more outlets. How can we do it? So we have 6 wards in Patterson.
Okay.
Right? Patterson, New Jersey. We're the third largest city with a population about 130,000 people, and I think the number is a little bit more. It's about between 30 and 35,000 kids we serve. And so, kids was getting into different things, stuff like that, after school if they wasn't in sports. Because, school districts, they always say, oh, kids got to play sports. So it's not like everybody's not playing sports, especially kids today. They go on Fortnite and all that other stuff.
Not everybody goes to college.
So
not everybody plays
so we
sports.
took a look at, so I asked the question, what does Patterson After 3 looks like? and nobody couldn't really answer the question. So I was like, and that was bad. So I said, listen, in each ward, let's what Patterson After 3 looks like. So I partnered with different fraternities and sororities. I partnered with our recreation department. I partnered with different churches as well, and we came up with the phrase Patterson After 3. So churches like, hey, we have more space that we can have an after-school program. Not where you have to do learning, but homework club. Let's get your homework done. Feed you. The recreation department had a food program. They, dropped off all the food, so kids are eating after, and then they do different activities. Some teachers volunteered, like, hey, I'll do a coding class. I'll do a science class or something like that.
So this is an additional resource for parents.
And also we had some schools we opened up in each ward that had like different organized open gym. They play a game of dodgeball, they play kickball, all these other things. So you didn't have to be an athlete, like just not here, throw basketball. No, organized games. So to keep kids occupied from about 3 to 6 p.m. And some churches and stuff, the church members volunteered their time, cook dinner and stuff like that. So they got a snack after school, and then they went home not hungry. So because that's a very key point too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and then some churches already have food banks too. They were like already food. They do their own food drive. So it was able to touch their base too. So when the families come pick up their children, they leave with a food basket as well.
That is so awesome because it's like a handoff. Right,
so it was like I opened up
community.
So I opened up as a small idea, and then everybody was like, they just built on. So it's been working. It's working in our community, and it's great for our kids.
Well, that is awesome. I think good ideas or great ideas in this case get built upon, right? And the community gets behind them. I really like the idea of having that set of kids being handed off from the school community to their actual community, right? And not just handed off to the streets.
Exactly.
So, that's a great idea. Well, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, it was awesome to meet you. And again, my name is Alex Lopez, and this is Mr. Emmanuel Capers.
Alex from the Shy.
That's right. A board member at Patterson Public Schools, so I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.